I crave soul.
You crave what?
Soul.
Then I don't know, go eat some. Dang, they got ultra instinct, bro. You ain't doing nothing like
Forsaken is a game with characters, and one of those characters is Two Time. Now, Two Time is a sentinel, which means they have the ability to stun the killer. Two Time's gameplay rewards stealthy and carefully placed strikes in order to... Okay, I'm lying. Sorta. Two Time is made to be stealthy, but...
Sentry down!
Yeah, nobody does that. Instead, most 2-10 players, much like myself, like to play a little more reckless, very reminiscent of a certain conniving Frenchman. Also, because people won't stop asking me on stream and in my comments, yes, I play TF2. Quite a fair bit, actually. No, I don't main spy. I play medic. Because I hate myself. Anyways, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, 2-time. 2-time has 3 abilities: Sacrificial Dagger, Crouch, and Ritual. Sacrificial Dagger allows you to perform a quick, nearly instant stab. Upon hitting, you'll gain 1/3 of your
Oblation
meter, which once full will allow you to respawn for a second life once you've died to the killer. However, if you hit a backstab, your oblation will be filled up by half, as well as stunning the killer. This is what makes 2-time a sentinel. Crouch is an ability that makes 2-time turn invisible, as you saw earlier, giving the buffs Invisible 3 and Undetectable 1, making you much harder for the killer to locate. Additionally, if you use Sacrificial Dagger while crouching, you'll perform a dash, making long-range stabs much more feasible. Ritual is the least interesting of the 3, just allowing you to mark where you want to respawn should you fill your oblation and get your second life. But if you've played 2-time, even for just a little bit, you probably already know all this, so I guess this section was kind of pointless. Two Time's gameplay relies a lot on hitting backstabs due to the end lag that your dagger has. Because if you miss... But dear viewer, I can hear you saying, how are we supposed to get behind the killer to backstab them if they're chasing us? Well, that is an excellent question, my friend. Introducing Trickstabs. Trickstabs, a term coined by players of the previously mentioned Frenchman that Forsaken players have adopted, simply boils down to moving in unpredictable ways in order to get behind the killer and put yourself in an advantageous position to hit a backstab. While that sounds simple on paper, there are a handful of different types of trick stabs at your disposal. I'll run through some of them real quick, from easiest to hardest, in my opinion. Corner stabs are pretty self-explanatory. They're by far the easiest stabs in the game to pull off in my opinion. All you do is go around a corner, wait for the killer to follow you, back up a bit, and stab. Be wary though, most high-level killers are aware of this and will approach wide in order to avoid you getting at their back. Drop stabs are similar to corner stabs, but instead of going around a corner, you get elevation on the killer. This allows you to drop down behind them and get a clean backstab. These are really satisfying to pull off and don't take too much effort to do. Be careful though, because most killers will pick up on what you're doing after they get backstabbed this way once or twice. This is one I don't see used nearly enough, but it's one of my favorites. This is a backstab that you threaten, but don't actually commit to. These are really good for aware killers, as they're almost always going to turn their body away from you and slow down to try to avoid the stab, taking the heat off of whoever's in chase and giving them some much needed time to get their stamina back. However, I don't recommend trying to do this on newer killers, as they're probably slamming their keyboard, tunneling on whoever they're chasing, and not paying attention to their surroundings. Also, if you and the killer both have voice chat, I'm gonna get you. Don't hit my chance. I'm gonna stab you. Don't hit my chance. I gotta stop you. I'm sorry, I gotta stop you. You can't hit my chance. You can't do it. Ow! Yeah, I forgot that goes through walls. This stab becomes 10 times more effective. the backtrack stab. For this stab, you're just gonna want to run at a very predictable straight line to get the chiller. For this stab, you're just gonna want to run in a very predictable straight line to get the killer chasing directly behind you. Then simply backtrack. Due to the nearly instant use of your dagger, you can pretty consistently get behind the killer and get a backstab in. The thing to watch out for on this one is the killer's stamina. I can't tell you how many situations I've had where I would have hit a backstab, but the killer just ran out of stamina. If you play TF2, yes, 2-time players borrow a lot from that game, then you've probably heard of this stab before, and it's the same general idea in Forsaken as it is in TF2. All a Matador stab is tricking the killer into following you one way, juking the other, and stabbing them as you fade away. This one is pretty reliable, but you have to have good movement in order to put it off, so be careful. Last but not least, the flick stab. The hardest trick stab you can pull off in my opinion, but probably not for the reason you think. This isn't because they're super intricate and technical and they're really hard to pull off, but mostly because they're kind of just bad. A flick stab is just running directly at the killer and flicking your camera 180 degrees once you're past them. The reason why this doesn't work is, unless the killer has their monitor turned off, they're probably going to notice the 2-time running straight at them with reckless abandon. This makes flick stabs some of the most disrespectful stabs in the game, as you're basically looking the enemy in the eye and saying, I think I'm smarter than you. Come at me, bitch. So yeah, that's some different types of trick stabs that you can go for as 2-time. There's probably a few more, but nothing major. I mean, that's really it. There's no backstabs left to talk about, really. No, we're done. I already... The front stab. One of the simplest and frankly the most bullshit stab in the entire game. Front stabs are kinda random and don't rely on much skill. In fact, most of the time they're an accident. Front stabs are basically just pressing your back to the killer's front, stabbing, and hoping Forsaken's jank-ass hitboxes play the game for you. These are some of the most infuriating stabs to be hit by, because even if you're being careful, sometimes the game is just saying, I do what I want, and stuns you anyways. While these do work, I wouldn't recommend them, as they're basically the equivalent of a 50-50 in Rocket League. Sometimes you'll hit it, sometimes you won't. We thought Chance was the only character with gambling built into him. Oh, also, people will probably tell you to commit lore accurate 07. A few extra tidbits about 2-time. 2-time in their second state is very squishy, being able to die in only 2 hits from literally any killer. Be careful. If you're around 50 to 70 HP, don't go ask Elliot for a pizza. Remember, hitting stabs will give you 10 HP for a normal stab and 20 HP for a backstab. If you use this right, you can almost have infinite health. For a hypothetical situation, let's say the round is about to end and you don't quite have your oblation meter filled yet. The killer's chasing you and you're backed into a corner. Instead of going for a fancy trick stab and risking dying, just lunge at the killer and hit a normal stab. That way you'll get the last bit of oblation you need to get your resurrection and not add to the clock should you die, possibly winning the game for you and your team. In conclusion, 2-time's gameplay is a lot more in-depth than meets the eye. If you really want to get good at them like me, then it mostly boils down to finding a trick stab you're comfortable with. Yes, even front stabs will do, I guess, and then learning to do it consistently. Just remember to shake up your gameplay every once in a while, because people will catch on pretty quick if you do the same thing over and over again. I think that's all for now. Thanks for watching this silly little guide, and I hope it helps some of you learn how to play 2-time more effectively. I was going to end it here, but I'm going off script a little here. Big thank you to everybody for all the support in the last couple of days. We went from like 500 subscribers to almost 8,000. It's absolutely insane. It's been so much fun to hang out with you guys on the streams, in the Discord. I love chatting with you guys. Just all your support has been amazing. I've been uploading on this channel since, gosh, I don't even know, like 4 or 5 years ago or something. I've taken all of them down since because they were cringy and bad, but maybe if we reach like 10K or something, I'll make one public again so you guys can laugh at my bad editing. With all that being said, I'm gonna go take a nap.